when it comes to the Bidens, given the family's long history of influence peddling and dealings with shady people overseas, I think cutting them off from national security information is frankly a pretty good idea. That's number one. Number two, some of these people and their affiliates and the people they're associated with at the upper reaches of the Democratic Party have proven time and again that they are willing to abuse their adjacency to national security information for political purposes. We all remember the 51 intelligence people who signed the Hunter Biden laptop letter, for instance. And so I think what Donald Trump is doing is sending a strong message.
That's Republican Scott Jennings, stunning CNN host and person paid to tell lies and nod thoughtfully Laura Coates by throwing cold water on her manufactured hysteria about President Trump revoking security clearances. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like another way you can tell the political leanings of the pretend journalists and legacy media is by how shocked they are to see a president actually doing what he promised. Because unlike Democrats who often lie for votes, President Trump is fulfilling many of the day one promises he made during the campaign, like draining the swamp and purging the administrative state of politically motivated actors. Here's Coates attempting to fearmonger over Trump removing the security clearances of her colleagues, only to have Scott Jennings point out how terrible and dishonest they really are.
Let's talk about Norm Eisen and Mark Zaid, who are both attorneys, colleagues of ours as well. And they are among the attorneys that are on this list of those who have their access revoked. They have been prominent critics of the president.
They're more than just vocal critics. These are not people who just occasionally pop up and exercise their free speech rights. Norm is one of the most detestable people I've ever met in this business, and he is like one of the principal architects of the lawfare against Donald Trump. So if I were the president of the United States, you're damn right. I'm not going to let somebody run around with a national security clearance who is out there doing everything in his power to derail my presidency after I was duly elected, not once, but twice. So you know what? Long overdue, and I'm glad he did it.
You can tell just how much the media is in bed with elites and the ruling class by how badly they've been panicking over things like Doge and washed up dishonest hacks and bureaucrats losing their security clearances. Call me crazy, but I don't seem to recall them throwing this much of a fuss when Biden revoked Trump's access in 2021.
No longer are people like this who float in and out of government going to be able to abuse their national security access for political purposes. And let me just tell you something. What goes around comes around, because as David just said, they cut off Donald Trump in 2021. You want to play the game? Now you got to play it when you're on the other side of the field.
Is there a logical end to the tit for political tat? Is this where it ends?
Look, it'll come to an end when Democrats who go in and out of government stop abusing their access to and adjacency to national security information for political purposes. There is no doubt that the top reaches of the Democratic Party have used their adjacency and access to this information, and then the fact that people know they have that access, they use that as credibility to then make political arguments against people they don't like, such as Donald Trump. They use that credibility to try to get the news media to report things that they say, such as the Hunter Biden laptop letter. There is a rational basis, Elliot, for doing this, and it's to put a stop to people using this kind of imprimatur for political reasons. So it'll come to an end when people stop abusing this kind of access. And one more issue, I just think far too many people in Washington have this kind of clearance anyway. And many people in both parties have acknowledged there's too many people with security clearances. Maybe this will start a conversation about ratcheting down the number of people who have access to this kind of information.
At the end of the day, all this shows is just how much President Trump has learned from his first term, where his administration was plagued with leaks and plots against him from politically motivated hacks who were less concerned with duty or civil service and more concerned with yapping to CNN and MSNBC for attention. It really is Trump turning Biden's playbook back on him and hitting him smarter and harder. And while liberals like to view everything as a right, the truth is that these clearances are a privilege tied to national service, not a right to be exploited for media appearances or personal vendettas. And whether they like it or not, Trump's actions address a very serious problem and end the gravy train for turncoats and ideologues who want to leverage their past roles and the access that come with them for political agendas. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about Trump revoking these clearances? Did he go too far or not far enough? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!